What do you get the most when people run into you, Titus, about from any of your movies, TV shows, other than Bosch? Let's take that out. I imagine you must get that quite a bit. But
it depends on the airport and the level of inebriation of the person who's encountering me.
Okay. Okay. Let's start with the airport then.
You know, there was a sort of a stream of shows that I was doing all kind of oddly simultaneously, which was Lost and Sons of Anarchy, and it was not long after Deadwood, and so it really just depends on, because not all of those fan bases cross into to each other. So, of course, I can't say this word on your show, but of course we know that word that is repeated endlessly on Deadwood.
Yes.
I have been called that word. It's been shouted at me from moving cars. I've had
MFer?
No, the C word.
Yes.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And I actually had a New York cop call me that. And
What do you mean? You're just walking down the street?
I'm in Grand Central Station, and this cop says, "Hey, beep," and I kind of went, "Is there a problem, officer?" Oh no, Deadwood. And then then we went on and talked about that. And
it's a hell of an opener.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's normally a non-starter. Call me crazy.
It's a throwdown ender.
Yeah. And he had a gun, I didn't, so it's sort of it was all in his favor. But the thing that always gets me is the Jimmy O'Fallon character from Sons of Anarchy. Obviously, a favorite among career criminals, because when I am typically approached, I'm looking at these people and I'm saying,
yes.
I wonder how many years they've done in the joint, because it's never, I don't get a grandmother coming up and saying, "Oh, that Jimmy O'Fallon, I just loved him." It's a guy saying, "When you pulled the guy's teeth out with the pliers, that was the best." My poor mother, God rest in peace, she just said to me, she loved Deadwood.
Yeah. Oh.
But she could not watch Sons of Anarchy. She said, "Your character is just, he's too evil, and the things that he perpetrates on people, I can't watch it."
Your character in Deadwood was not winning any awards.
Not at all. Yeah.
For his goodwill.
Yeah.
Man of the Year award.
I mean, God, some of the conversations you had with Ian McShane with the great Al Swearingen.
Pure filth. And
Yes.
but my mother would say to me, "But that's David Milch's writing." She said, it's Shakespearean, and she said, I don't even really hear the profanity. She said it's a part of it, and so she said it kind of rolls off of me. I'm just more invested in the characters and where they're going.
I agree. It was like if Shakespeare worked blue, it was like iambic pentameter.
Exactly.
With the worst words you could ever say. Is it true? Is it true that Milch would give you lines literally the day you had to shoot it? That you were getting lines and scripts and pages like the day?
Sometimes on the set, I'd be in a scene with Ian and the other guys in the Gem Saloon, and we'd rehearse it, and David would stop and say, "No, you know what? Actually, what I want you to say is say X, and instead of that, forget that." Or he might even rewrite the entire thing on the fly there, which was interesting to watch the panic in the script supervisor's face, because she's saying, "What did he say?" And she's trying to write it down, and you just...
How do you spell that?
Well, you work with David, and I'd already done, that was the fourth show that I'd done with him, so I was very accustomed to working that way, and it's not at all the norm, but there was the gift of that, in the face of abject terror at the same time, was that you didn't get into your head too much, and you were able to just play the scene. And obviously when you're working with a guy like Ian McShane, who is for me is a god, and I learned a tremendous amount just working with him and watching him, it was pure pleasure. It was like going to school. It was a master class, and you just kept your mouth shut and observed and learned from it. So it was a great thrill.
I was about to say, I mean, the scenes sometimes you would be in with Ian McShane, his soliloquies as Al Swearingen. Speaking of which, you said the word pleasure sometimes while he is actually experiencing such.
And speaking to an Indian's head in a box.
I mean, unbelievable. Were you still there, even though technically you were off camera, just watching that go down?
Oh,
Titus?
yeah.
I mean,
I would look. There were days where I would have a scene and then I would have 3 or 4 scenes off in the day, but I would just go to the set to watch Ian work. And there are just some actors that you want to do that. When I did the first film with Ben Affleck, Gone Baby Gone.
Yes.
And I would go, I have one silent bit in a scene with Morgan Freeman, but I would go and watch Morgan work. And a funny little anecdote of that. One day I was there and Morgan was doing the scene, and Ben would go, cut, print that, let's go again. And Morgan's worked with Clint Eastwood, and Clint's like a 1 or 2 take guy, and you go. And so it gets to like the 4th take, and Ben says, okay, yeah, cut, print, let's go again. And Morgan just says, and why are we going again? Was there a light stand in my shot? Because if there wasn't, I think we need to move on. And I looked at Ben and I went, move on.
Gone, baby, gone.
Yeah, that was it. Move on, gone, baby, gone. But what a privilege. I mean, I got to watch Morgan Freeman, for free.
For free.
Yeah.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.